Well, hello everyone, welcome to Dominion 6. My name's Mew. This time around, I'm going to be playing a multiplayer game of Dominion 6 set in the early age. And I'm going to be playing as Muspelheim. Oh, sorry, did I say Muspelheim? Of course I meant my Pelheim, right? That's right, the fabled Muspelheim has finally been added to the game. I think the nation ID for my Pelheim has been in the game since Dominions 3, maybe? Or maybe Dominions 4, I'm not sure. A long time, anyway. It's taken 10 long years, but the developers finally came up with a suitable gimmick for the nation. Something that really makes it stand out, differentiates it from other nations like Niflheim. And the gimmick is Cold Nation, Hot Capital. Pretty good gimmick if you ask me, I quite like it. Very cerebral, makes you think. Anyway, this is going to be my first game with Dominion 6, playing as Muspelheim. The game just got released, so there may be some teething issues with this series, maybe with the game itself, I don't know. Things are all a bit, new at the moment. But that's okay. We can all have fun discovering them together. Anyway, this video will be the intro for this series, and in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Muspelheim, and then go over the god that I made. And I need to give a shout out to Dominion's player named My Dad, which is a very funny name to have to say on a video. But yes, big thanks to my dad, who made the god for me, because he was in the Dominion 6 beta, so he's much more au fait with Dominion 6 than me. He gave me a god, I tested out 10 turns of expansion, expansion went fine, good enough for me. That meant I was able to register for a game on release day, without worrying that I didn't understand any of the new blesses or anything, Anyway, if you are familiar with my Dominions 4 and 5 series, you know the drill. But if you're new here, welcome! I tend to keep my videos a bit shorter than most people's Dominions videos. I aim for about 20 minutes long. I tend to be more gameplay focused than tutorial focused. My series tend to have 2 videos a week. Each video will have about 3 turns in it, so you get about 6 turns a week. Which is good because it keeps it just behind the game, as long as the game is ticking along at a rate of 7 turns a week. Which it usually isn't. If you enjoy this series, or any of the other series on the channel, do please consider subscribing, or liking the video, or leaving a comment, or, the YouTube stuff, since my channel is pretty small, so it does help a lot. And if you really love me, there is a link to my Patreon in the description below. I usually forget to bring it up, so I always bring it up in the intro video. But it's there, it exists. There's no perks associated with it at all. It's just if you want to support me for making the videos. And that's it for the intro stuff, right? Brand new game, which means we're not running any balance mod. We don't even have a map generator yet. There's no Carto, there's no map nuke. It's all vanilla, baby. I suppose in some ways that's good, because it means these videos are going to be more in line with what other people are playing, right? I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, enough B-roll. Let's go and look at my Pelheim, shall we? Alright then, here we are, Muspelheim. Yeah, as mentioned, the gimmick here is that we are a cold nation, but we have a heat capital, so stuff we can recruit in the capital likes heat, stuff outside the capital likes cold. That gives you a few problems you have to work around, but, well, we'll get to that. First of all, let's just look through the units we've got to recruit. Our scout is this guy, who can only be recruited outside of our cap, so we have an expensive giant scout, which sucks anyway, and then in our cap we don't even get a scout, so we're going to be starved for scouts on this nation unless we find a scout province, because I don't want to recruit giant scouts, I hate doing that. Also outside the cap we have a bunch of priests. We have, a regular sacred commander, 75 leadership, not bad. He is resistant to cold and vulnerable to shock, which is typical of all Jotun units. Is an H2 priest, pretty good. Only 50 leadership though. Another priest then, H1 priest, 100 leadership. You get to choose whether you want differing amounts of leadership and priest levels, basically. Outer cap mage, who is fire-oriented, one of the only Muspel-oriented things we can get outside the cap. In fact, the only thing Muspel-oriented outside the cap. So these are your recruit anywhere fire mages. Nice paths. I mean, I like fire, air, and death, to be honest. Fire has really good evocations. Air, I actually don't know now, because I know some of their stuff will be in glamour. So I can't really speak with any confidence to air anymore, but, traditionally, pretty good path. And death, always a pretty good path. These could be D2. There's a horde of skeleton spammer. F2 is a, Pillar of Fire spammer. Fireball. Cast Phoenix Pyre into Falling Fires. I mean, yeah, pretty good all-around mages, I think. Get Wasteland Survival and Snow Movement. That's a really cool combo. 15 Fire Res and Shock Vulnerability, yeah. So, nice mage. Can also do Gauges outside the capital as well. So, in theory, we could also be a Blood Nation if we wanted to. I don't particularly want to, you know, unless you really want to play a Blood Nation. I don't think anybody enjoys transitioning into Blood, but I could be wrong. I have been playing with a balance mod in Dominions 5 for the last 5 years, which, you know, nerfs a lot of blood. So, I don't know. Maybe blood is a powerhouse and I should get used to it again. That being said, usually I would say, this being an early age game, we might not be able to do much blood hunting anyway, because provinces are much smaller. That being said, I do know that in Dominion 6, provinces are just much bigger though, so maybe that's not a problem anymore. Maybe we can blood hunt quite easily in early age, I don't know. Big path variety anyway. I mean, these are very fat mages, aren't they? One with 3 paths and then get 2 more picks. Pretty nice. Also fortune tellers, so I guess you can go misfortune if you want to. 15 cold res and 5 shock bomb. Pretty nice. Yeah, I think we have quite good mages. They are a bit expensive, I suppose. I mean, 230 and 285 in early age is probably kind of expensive, but again, you know, costs and things are something I'm going to have to get used to in Dominion 6. Inside our capital, then, we have Muspel Hearses, H1 priests, good for leading out our sacreds in the early game. Also, yeah, these guys are actually fire resistant, so they can stand next to our sacreds who have a heat aura. It's going to be another annoying thing, isn't it, if we go with blood? It always sucks when you're a blood nation with blood slaves and then there's a bunch of heat aura things nearby. But then again, I mean, we wouldn't have the fire giants anywhere near these, would we? Either way. Inside the cap, nice leader early on. Also have a slightly better version, I guess. I mean, it's a better priest and also a fire mage. It's kind of a weird niche though. They're like a cheap fire mage and better priest from the cap. I guess they're kind of cool. I'm not sure if I see when I would recruit them. I mean, I guess if you... Well, how much are they compared to... If you want a cheap priest, you get the Muspel Dota. I guess if you really need an H2 from your app, you could get them. I'm not sure. They fill an odd niche, I guess, in some way. I just don't see it immediately. Muspel Gijis, on the other hand, hell yeah. These are also really nice mages. Cap only, though. But only 2 rec points, which is really nice. So you can get them every turn out of your cap. These are going to be really good mages, I think. I just like fire mages generally, though. Would you bunch of Lightless Lanterns, drop a bunch of huge evocations really early. Pretty good. And a bunch of nice... I mean, again, Air, Astral, and Glamour are all going to be kind of new to me, aren't they? Because I think Air and Astral spells have kind of switched around a bit. And Glamour is entirely new. So, again, I can't speak with confidence about how good they are, but Fire and Death are always good, right? So, again, very good mage, I think. Bit expensive, but... Yeah, I mean, they're giant mages, so... Having mages that are not squishy, or not vulnerable to seeking arrows, pretty good. I guess we're weirdly susceptible to Wrath of God, now that I think about it. It's kind of an awkward weakness, isn't it? Although we can forge shock resistance items quite easily, which is, you know, something, I guess. Then we have the big guy from our capital. I mean, these things are ridiculous. 700 gold, so, you know, not exactly going to be massing these things. But come on, I mean, this is a large gentleman. Size 9, amazing stats. He's got, what, firepower 1. He's good in heat. Heat aura of 15. That's pretty big. Amazing pass for thugging as well. So fire 3 is just Phoenix Pyre, right? So Phoenix Pyre on a thug, always good. Death 1 with a pig. Could be D2. D2 with the Death Gem lets you cast Soul Vortex. I mean, already he's a great thug, right? But then his third pick is air, so with the gem he can do Mist Form. You can also do, what, I don't know, Personal Flight, Mirror Image, Mist Form, and, well, I mean, I guess you need to cast... Yeah, there's your 5 spells. I mean, great paths. On top of that, he can bless himself. I mean, what can't this guy do? I did notice he's not wearing a helmet, which is very silly of him, although I guess he's size 9, so... Good luck hitting him in the head, right? He also, as if all that wasn't enough, as if, you know, having this imposing figure rampaging through your lands wasn't enough, He comes with a built-in firebrand. Are you kidding me? A magical armor-piercing weapon that also does AoE 1 fire damage. Come on. I mean, what a king. How old do you guys get? 1,000? Brilliant. Muspelheim. What a great commander. Expect to see very few of these, but they would be sick to get out if we can. Units then. Out of our capital, definitely want to be getting as many Muspelheims as possible. These are extremely expensive in terms of everything, including holy cost. It takes 2 sacred points to recruit these things. So that's the same for the commander version as well. But again, yeah, really nice units. The Aura Giants with firepower. Also bodyguards, which is a bit odd. But sure, why not? I'll take it. 25 fire resistance. Don't resistances work differently now as well? Yeah. I mean, these guys are not going to take any fire damage ever. Susceptible to shock, but you know, we can work around that. Again, we do get air on the nation, so it's reasonably simple to cast air resistant buffs. And these guys wisely do actually wear helmets as well, which is very good of them, although they don't have the cool AoE 1 armor-piercing weapons, but you know, I guess you can't have everything on a recruitable cap-only sacred, right? Anyway, gonna want to get as many of these out of the capital as I can. They're incredible units. Some people say on the Discord, it kind of sucks because you're going to be fighting in cold or whatever. I don't think it matters that much. It's going to get what? In cold 2 is going to be like the worst you're going to be in, I think, generally. So what, they lose 2 attack and 2 strength? It's fine. They'll get some experience and, you know, put a nice bless on them. They're still going to be incredible, I think. Especially with the bless that we are using, so, you know, watch this space. Anyway, besides the Muspel Giants, do we really care about any of our other units? Not really, I don't think. From the capital, we can get these guys, who I'm going to be using a lot as bodyguards early on. They are fire resistant, so they can stand near our capital stuff, and yeah, I mean, they're big, strong giants who, I mean, in this case, they also throw a javelin, so that's pretty nice. Besides that, not much to say. Outside the capital, it's going to come down to what you need, right? You probably don't want to mix these units in with your Heat Aura guys, because these ones do not have any fire resistance. So that is going to be a problem in some cases. Otherwise though, I mean, they're just good giant units, right? You want guys with shields and spears, you have a go with a shield and spear, 24 damage, that's piercing, I mean, that's pretty nice. If you're against a bunch of, you know, not very numerous, but, you know, pretty big and soft targets, you just want to hit with boulders. Hey, there's a Jotun Hurler, why not? You've got slashing damage attacks, you've got slashing damage attacks with a javelin, you've got, what else? Piercing and javelin, piercing without a javelin, axe. I mean, that's it, that's all there is to say, right? Focus of the nation is going to be these guys, I think. Besides that, who really cares, you know? Use what you need to use, otherwise. Anything else to say about the nation? I don't think so. We can go to cold 3 on our scales. I think that's a bit much, but I don't know, maybe that's good. It's worth pointing out that our capital reduces heat scale deaths by 2 steps, so our capital is going to go all the way to heat 5. When scales get that high, they get a bunch of extra negatives. In the case of heat, it starts killing your population, but that does not apply to us. Not in the capital, anyway. The capital is protected from that. In the case of fortresses that are not the capital, it's the other way around. It's cold, deaths get reduced, but only by 1 step, so you're safe up to cold 4 outside of the capital. Anything else to say? I mean, cap sites, we get fire, death, and water. Alright, pretty good. I have nothing else to say. Let's go and take a look at the god that I made. And here we are. We are worshipping a sacred geyser named Dominion 6 with all the DLC. Again, this pretender was provided to me by my dad on release day of Dominions, so that I had a god that I could just immediately join a game with, so thanks again. So the Sacred Geyser is going to be taken imprisoned. We are going to get some nice scales and some very, very high Dominion. This is important because the way we want to play this is we want to get as many giants out as we can each turn, and since they take 2 sacred points to recruit, that means we're going to be able to recruit 4 with Dominion 9. And the extra leftover holy point allows us to recruit a priest to lead them. So as soon as we can recruit 4 Sacred Giants plus a Priest, that's basically an expansion army, right? We're also taking a really, really nice bless. You know, we've got 2 order and 2 productivity. That's going to give us lots of wealth to play with, and lots of resources as well. Our giants are all expensive. Everything we recruit is expensive. Everything we build is expensive. I mean, I think expenses are just generally more, well, expensive in Dominion 6, so that isn't really surprising. But yeah. We do not need an Awake expander. We also don't need a particularly huge bless either. So I think it's fine to, you know, take an immobile, imprison it, take good scales on it. Why not? Magic 2 then. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you what you take then after order and resources, I think. You could do luck 2 instead, or growth 2, or whatever. I'm fine with Magic 2 though. Magic 2 is fine. I generally, well, if we go by the precedent I set in Dominions 4 and 5, I generally do not do much research in games. I'm a very mid-game oriented player, so helping myself to catch up on research is always going to be pretty good for me. In the case of Muspelheim though, we can forge... I think there's new research boosters in the game now, so I'm not sure I know what all of the research boosters are, but I certainly know that there is a very, very good research booster in Fire called the Lightless Lantern. So we should be able to catch up on research pretty easily anyway. But, I mean, Magic 2, I guess, is just the cherry on top, right? We also have Air Magic, so we can make Alcoils. We have Death Magic, so we can make Skull Mentors. We have Glamour. I'm pretty sure there's a Glamour research booster. I think there's even, like, a Nature research booster now, right? So if we find some Nature Mages, we can make... I mean, we can make a lot of research boosters, right? I think that's what I'm getting at here, guys. We can make all kinds of research boosters. So research shouldn't be a problem. But that's kind of a meme on this channel, so we'll see. Anyway, that's it for the Pretender and the Scales and stuff. Bless then I think is really interesting. First up, we're taking Cold Resistance. And that's because our Giants might end up fighting in Cold, since we have Cold Scales. I mean, we have Cold Scales and we have Dominion 9. So we might end up fighting in Cold. Let's put some Cold Resistance on our guys so that they're a bit resistant to fatigue effects and stuff. In fact, a lot of this bless is about being able to fight effectively in cold, I think. So cold resistance is the first one. Bit of defense skill then, why not? Keep our defense up. I mean, we're going to have really good defense in heat. And this helps keep it up in cold as well. Awareness, again. Awareness is a new bless added in Dominion 6. So this basically gives you the unsurroundable trait. In Dominions, basically when your units are surrounded, they get harassed, and being harassed reduces their defense. Awareness increases the number of units that need to harass you before you start taking penalties, I think. It works something like that, basically. Which again means we'll be able to keep our defense up, even though we are being harassed. And that's going to be useful, you know, again, it's going to keep our defense high when we're in heat, and it's going to help it stay high when we're in cold as well. And Heroism, same thing, another new bless. Heroism just makes your units get more experience. This is going to give us all of our stats, except, weirdly, Precision. I don't think Precision is affected by XP, right? I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong. I think Experience gives you everything except Precision. I think it even gives you Combat Speed, but again, I could be wrong about that. It definitely gives you Strength, Attack, Skill, and Defense, though, and those are the important ones. So we're going to get 50% more experience, which means all of our giants are going to get even more stats. They're going to have higher Strength, Attack, and Defense, and again, that's going to help keep our stats up when we're fighting in cold, and it's just going to buff things into, you know, very, very high values when we're in heat. So it's a good all-round bless for making sure that our giants are able to fight effectively, regardless of the local weather conditions, okay? We then slap on True Sight. Why? Well, because it's early age and there's a bunch of elves running around, so let's just make sure that we can see through glamour and stuff. This is another new bless in Dominion 6, so I don't have much to say about it. I have looked at some of the glamour spells though. There's an awful lot of glamour spells, or glamour buffs more like, that, you know, you can see at the bottom, mirror image, blur, invisibility. There's all kinds of glamour spells that again affect your attack skill and defense skill essentially. So having a way to cancel out, you know, debuffs to our attack is very good. But that's the god in brief. I have not talked much about the specific magic path values that we have, because I don't know why we have these values. This is my dad's god, so I just went, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's some reason to them. We need Earth 3 for the awareness, and we need Glamour 3 for the True Sight. We start with water on this, and I think fire as well, so I guess it's easy to push that one up. Hey, I'm not going to argue. You're not here for insight, you're here for gameplay, right? So yeah, next video you see in this series is going to be turn 1 to 3, so look out for it. The game plan is going to be mass giants out of our cap, the fire giants, expand very well, and then hopefully just run straight into someone who is vulnerable to heat and also has heat scales. That would be ideal. I'm not sure if it's going to work that way. Early research target is going to be sulfur haze, which we are going to blanket the battlefield with, and then just kind of carelessly walk through it. So the ideal scenario will be that we start next to a puny human nation, has no particular strength or vulnerabilities as far as poison or heat are concerned, and then we're just going to completely stormroll them after having a very easy expansion phase that lands us on 25 provinces on turn 12. Is it all going to work that way? Probably not, but you know, that's the game plan anyway. So yeah, I think that's everything. It's a bit weird just suddenly ending the video here. I don't have to talk about mods, I don't have to talk about maps, I don't have to talk about anything. But I really hope you enjoy the series. I hope it goes well. You know, this is the first Dominion 6 series on the channel, so hopefully it doesn't just end pitifully after 11 turns or something. That would be a shame. But you never know. This is Dominions after all. Anyway, if you have watched all the way to the end of the video, and you are listening to my voice right now, I'm going to treat you to a brief flash of mufridge.ping. There it is, okay, you know, you just get a little bit. No, don't, you know, that's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the series, and hopefully, I'll see you on turn 1.